document, what we're going to do is, and I've accidentally deleted my camera and light, but that's all right, I can add that back in later on, is we're going to add a mesh, and it's going to be a grid. Now the settings we want for this are 20 subdivisions on the X and Y. I'm actually going to change that to 40 on the X and Y, and a radius of 20. Okay, the other things down the bottom don't matter. Make sure it's in the origin here, so just check that should be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And if it's not, it gets created wherever that 3D cursor is. Shift S and then cursor to center will set the cursor back to there, and then when you make it, it'll be on there. So I'm going to tab into that, and you can see I've got all my faces. A grid is just a plane with subdivisions on it. So I've got all my faces here, and for this one we're just going to want some slight rolling hills. So I'm going to go sculpt mode. We're just going to draw over this here. Not too much because we're going to smooth it out, but you don't want big mountain peaks. Okay, so just something a little bit like that. And then up the top here, I'm going to change this to smooth and draw over it. Okay, something like that looks pretty good. All right, so that's good for now. Go back to object mode and hit M and move it to that third layer. And it's on that third layer. So now we're back on the first layer down here. And I'm going to do the same thing, add a mesh. I'm going to add a grid, and this grid here should have the same details. So for this grid though, somewhere at the back around here, I am going to go into sculpt mode. I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to grab it quite, which one do I want? I want sculpt draw. But I'm going to bring these up quite a bit. Okay, I only really want the back here. I don't want the front. I just want the back. I want to bring up because I want to make like a mountainous peak here. If I go to 5 and 7, the top view, I can not too worried if I change that at the back. Just want to make sure that I've got some mountains. Probably should have locked it on the Z-axis, but it doesn't matter. Not the Z-axis. The Y-axis, it's not a big deal though. Okay, once I've done a little bit of that, I'm going to smooth it out. Just so that I've got that height in there, but I don't have any vertices overlapping. And then go back to, maybe I'll use grab a little bit and grab some of these and pull them up. Now when I grab, I'm going to lock the X and Y. So it only moves up along the Z. Okay, so I grab some of these. Whichever ones I grab, it moves up. By zooming in, get a bit more control. Zooming out, you get to grab more land as you go. And you can pull them down. You probably want one big peak and then a few smaller ones. This is going to be in the background. If I just go into tab, edit mode, you'll see there that is an error. Okay, there's actually a weird face that's happened in there. So I'm going to want to try and bring this up if I can. I may not be able to. It'll probably be fixed in render mode anyway, or I may not even be able to see it. So it's probably not a big deal if I'm like that. Okay. So with that happening there, we can hit, go back to object mode. I've got my mountains. I might actually bring some more of this up. Spend a little bit of time sculpting this. I would say no more than 5 minutes. It's not. You just want to demonstrate that you can use the tools. And don't worry too much about the back. Okay, so with that done, bring some of this stuff up at the front. We'll add materials to this later on. Okay, so with that done, go back to object mode, hit M, and move it to that fourth layer. Okay, so down here you can see with dots, there's stuff on all the different layers. And the next one, we're going to bring some of it back in and get a little road happening. And we'll create the road as well.